Well, I think we're going to get it started, everyone. So the rain is going to hold off, right, Mayor?
Yep.
Well, good morning. My name is Sue Locke, and I'm with the Scotts Miracle-Gro Foundation. And welcome to the Grow 1000 National Garden Green Space Grant Program here in New Bedford. On behalf of my colleagues from Scotts Miracle-Gro, we're really very honored to be with you here today in historic New Bedford and to be a part of the transformation that's going to be taking place here on Abolition Row and all of the great work that's going to be taking place. It's just a thrill for us to be here. So the Grow 1000 program was an initiative that Scotts started with its partners in 2011, and the goal is to create 1,000 gardens and green spaces in the U.S., Canada, and Europe by 2018. 2018 is our 150th anniversary for the company, and when we awarded the grants this year, and New Bedford obviously was one of the recipients, when we read through the application and all of the groundbreaking work that's taking here, where you're going to have a storytelling garden, the educational kiosk, and how you really are going to enrich the lives of the residents here in New Bedford. This is really spoke to what the heart of the Grow 1000 program is. So again, we are very pleased to be invited here to be a part of this, and very anxious to come back to see when this is all completed as well. So to get our program started, I'd like to introduce Juby Headley with the U.S. Conference of Mayors, and he's going to be introducing the mayor. Juby?
Thank you. Hi, everybody. It's kind of a weird assignment to introduce somebody that's probably better known to most of you than he is to me, especially since you guys elected him three times, I believe. So you know him pretty well. I'm going to do my best to try to introduce, aside you might not know of him. First, let me say that the Conference of Mayors, based in Washington, D.C., we're really proud to be able to sponsor this initiative with Scotts Miracle-Gro. We have had the opportunity through this initiative to do things like help kids fight childhood obesity and learn how to make and cook and grow their own food. We've had the opportunity to help cities that have been devastated by natural disaster rebuild and form cornerstones. And now we're doing something equally as important. We're helping a city resurrect and honor a part of its history that's important not only to New Bedford and to the state, but to the country. What I want you to know is that this project is seen as a model project, as a leading project by the Conference of Mayors. Your city and Mayor Mitchell are models for the nation, and Mayor Mitchell is a model in many ways. This project talks about history, but it also takes land that isn't being used and re-energizes it, revitalizes it, puts it back to use for you guys. And it's something that's important to the Conference of Mayors, which is why when we need somebody to testify before Congress on why we need money to take these kinds of underutilized properties and make them useful again, we call on Mayor Mitchell to come to Washington, D.C. It's also important to sustainability, which is why, when we think about sustainability, we think about a city like New Bedford where, and you guys might know this, you have more solar panels per capita than any other city in the nation. It's lucky, I have learned, as I'm reading up, that you don't need sun to make the solar panels work. But we're going to be happy we're here today honoring this project and your mayor's leadership regardless. So I don't want to prattle on. Without further ado, I'd like to call on Mayor Mitchell to give some remarks. Your mayor, Jon Mitchell.
Thanks, Juby. Thanks for the introduction. Thank you, Juby. So, I think in the interest of candor, I have to correct the record. So we're actually second to Honolulu in solar. It's not exactly a fair fight. They get a little more sun than we do, but we're trying really hard. One of these days we'll beat even Honolulu. But anyway, well, welcome everybody. I want to extend a hearty welcome, especially to the students who are here, including the girls from OSS whom I ran into over at the Baker this morning. They cornered me, and I didn't know you guys would be seeing you again this morning. So it's great to see you guys. I hope you had some fabulous treats over there. So with events like this, the elected officials do get to stand up and say, to proclaim how great a project it is, and it is a great project. But I just want to say right up front, you guys made this happen. You guys, including the Bedford Historical Society, Lee Blake, Carl Cruz, the Parks Department, Brian Obriga here on behalf of the Parks Department, Pat Sullivan and his shop, all did tremendous work to knit all this together. And then came in the U.S. Conference of Mayors and Scott's Miracle-Gro with the financial backing, which really has knitted it all together. So I just want to thank all of you for being part of this and for seeing the value that could be that could be extracted from this site. And I say extracted, then this is a phoenix of a site, quite almost literally, in the sense that there was an awful fire here 7 or 8 years ago. There was a rooming house that was built out in an old whaling mansion, and it burnt to the ground. And the only thing you'll remember, the only thing standing here were the front granite steps to the mansion. They sat here because everything else went down and after it was demolished, and it was really unfortunate. And for a city that prides itself on historic preservation, it was something that had to be addressed and something that had to be turned into a positive, and that's what's happened here. It's taken a long time. It's taken a lot of patience. Lee Blake and I have had many conversations over the years about reactivating the site, and the idea behind the park is the right one because it accentuates what happened on this street. So for all you kids here, you see that house right there with the sign Nathan and Polly Johnson. So that house changed America. That's the takeaway. That house is where Frederick Douglass, America's truly first civil rights leader, an incredibly eloquent and captivating public speaker and leader and moral leader in the 19th century. That's where he found freedom, and that's where he was launched to become the hero that we rightly perceived him to be through the ages. And so we're very proud of that. That is a big part of New Bedford. That is a big part of whom we are, and a big part of our efforts to accentuate all things New Bedford. It's a big part of our identity, and places that forget their identity or neglect it are places that aren't alive. But that's not the case here in New Bedford. We embrace our identity, we embrace our tradition, and we build on it for a brighter future. So that's what's happening today, and it doesn't happen. It happens. City government is necessary, and state government is necessary as well. You're going to hear from Tony Cabral, who's always been very, very supportive of this stuff. But we're just one part of the whole. Communities have to make this happen, and so I'm just so proud today to see what has happened when a few people get together with a great idea and go out and sell that idea and make it happen. And I hope we get a little bit dirty today doing the digging because it's well worth it. The rain's holding off. But again, thank you, Scotts. Thank you, Sue, and thank you, Juby, for the conference's support. We really appreciate it, and we're really proud that you're able to share this moment with us today. Thanks, everybody.
Always got to move the mic down after somebody else speaks. Thank you, Mayor Mitchell. And I think we have State Representative Cabral to say a few words as well.
Well, good morning. Let me begin by thanking Scott Miracle and Grow and the Conference of Mayors, but a special thank you to the New Bedford Historical Society, Lee Blake, Carl Cruz, and all the other members of the Society for all the great work they have done over the years. I'm sure all of us are big fans of green space, in particular in the inner city, like this one will become, but this is much more than a green space for all of us and for the community. It's really an opportunity for us, and that's part of the excitement for me is really to educate both the young and the old about New Bedford's rich history, including the city's involvement in the Underground Railroad. As an educator, I understand the importance of giving any new space or program academic value. Overall, this project is unique, but it's one that I think it's fitting as the mayor mentioned about the history, starting with the freedom and the great leader of the 19th century of Frederick Douglass. But in this time in history in New Bedford, this is equally important for us to also understand, and I know most of you in this audience understands and values what this community has become, the diversity of this community, the richness of this community, and what makes really New Bedford thrive. And some of that, yes, is the immigrants and the new immigrants that arrive here every day, every week, every year. And we want to make sure this community is a welcoming community, one that welcomes folks from all walks of life. Folks from all walks of life, including immigrants, just like we did with welcoming folks from the South and ensuring their freedom in the time of the slavery period. This is the same community and the same folks over the years that actually have welcomed so many people from so many walks of life, regardless of their race, ethnicity, or their religion. And this is what this is about. I think this project really symbolizes, it's an opportunity for us to relive and in the history and the importance of this space and the importance of this city and really the work of the New Bedford Historical Society as well. I think we ought to really underline that, because it's greater than just the green space in the inner city. To a certain degree, it goes beyond. I mean, the Abolition Row in New Bedford really makes this community a leading community in being a community that welcomes people so they can enjoy and pursue their dreams, their liberties, their freedoms, their values. And this is what New Bedford is about. And so I'm so excited about this, and I'm thankful for the opportunity to say a few words to you today. I want to thank the New Bedford Historical Society and all those folks who gave me that opportunity, because it is projects like this that really symbolizes this city, and really we are much better than what some folks that proclaim and go around with fear and hate is about. We are not about that, and New Bedford is not about that. So thank you very much, and I can't wait for the opening of the park.
So this is the 7th year of the Grow 1000 program, and we've traveled across the country supporting and working with so many great communities. And every city, there's a cheerleader and ambassador that really kind of pulls us all together. So right now I'd like to introduce Lee Blake, who has really been the heart and soul of this project. So Lee.
Thank you. So I'm the cheerleader, and I love New Bedford. And I know you all love New Bedford. The New Bedford Historical Society loves New Bedford's history and wants to make sure that it's diverse. We have so many stories here to tell. Abolition Row is just a marvelous story about men and women just like yourselves, everyday men and women who decided that they were going to take a principled stand to end enslavement. And they protected people. They had sanctuary here in New Bedford. New Bedford, there are at least 700 fugitive slaves who came to New Bedford on the Underground Railroad. We know that there are 7 that lived across the street, and we know who those people are, but there are many stories to tell about how New Bedford protected people, how the citizens of New Bedford stood up, took people that they did not even know and protected them for having horrible, miserable lives as slaves. So we love that story, and it is a story that we all need to hear now. No racial difference, no religious difference. We just took hold of everyone and took care of them. That's what we did. That's what the city did. Now, members of the New Bedford Historical Society, we believe that our job isn't done until we've dragged every story about great people out of the closet. The American history closet and the New Bedford history closet. People should know what people like us did You know, no one says, well, I'm making history when I protect somebody, but that's what you're doing. That's what you're doing. You're standing up for principles, you're standing up for egalitarian, for democracy. That's what we do, and that's what the house across the street, that's what Nathan and Polly Johnson did, and many others. So I thank you all for coming. We're so excited to be able to move Abolition Row Park forward and to tell you the stories. I'm an educator like Tony was, and for me, I'm doing this for kids. I do this for children. I know these stories, but I want to make sure they know these stories. I want to thank Miracle-Gro, the U.S. Conference of Mayors, but I also want to thank some of our early funders, the Island Foundation, the Demoulas Foundation has already given us money, and of course, we got $40,000 from Scott's Miracle-Gro. Thank you, thank you. Thank you.
Stay up here. Okay, that's a perfect segue. So, Mayor Mitchell and Juby. Again. So, on behalf of all our partners with Grow 1000 and Scott's Miracle-Gro, we'd like to present the check for $40,000 to the city of New Bedford.
All right. I need the big pen to endorse it.
That's right.
All right. All right. Very good.
Thank you.
Very good.
Thank
Very
you.
good. Nice job.
And now I'd like to bring up Mary Gattani from kidsgardening.org to present the Give Back to Grow Youth Gardener Award. Mary.
Hi, I'm from Kids Gardening. We're a national nonprofit that believes every child should have the opportunity to learn through the garden, because gardening is important. It engages kids' natural curiosity and wonder, and we have an excellent example of that today in Edwin Pagan Santiago. He's here today. And he started out growing some peas, and is interested in gardening, grew almost as fast as his peas. For 3 years he started out just not sure if he was going to be into it or not, and then he got very engaged, so engaged that he started giving adults tours of the garden, and he went beyond doing it for recess and for after school. So we're really excited to give the Give Back to Grow Youth Award to Edwin. Did you want to say a few words? No? All right. Well, here you go. And I just want to add, I wasn't not surprised to find out that Polly Johnson was a gardener. That's right. And an herbalist. So there you go. Lots of pea seeds. Oh.
Great. All right, congratulations, Edwin. All right, so we are just getting ready to wrap up. We are going to have a sign unveiling and also a ceremonial planting. But thank you all for being a part of this. As I mentioned, Grow 1000, this is our 7th year for this program. We at Scott's Miracle-Gro could not do this alone, so I want to thank all of our wonderful partners. Bill Dawson from Franklin Park Conservatory. Bill is going to be leading the ceremonial planting. Also, Mary Gattani, Kids Gardening, Alexa Howler, and where's Jen? Jen Perrone over there. Thank you very much for all you've done. U.S. Conference of Mayors. Also, Bonnie Plants, who provided all the lovely greenery here. And this is our 10th project that we have done, Grow 1000, in the state. So really want to thank our sales team, district managers Brendan King, Brian Winters, and also Vanessa Shepard, who's over here too, from our Marysville office. And I know a lot of you who have been on the planning calls from the very beginning. Lindsay LaSala, who could not be with us, she's getting ready to have a baby, but just want to give a shout out to Lindsay for all that she's done too. Yes. So anyways, thank you all again. And Bill, if you'll lead us with the sign unveiling and the planting. So thank you so much.